Every great conversation begins between two thoughts.
I've been thinking about something all week. About words. Specifically, about how certain combinations of words, just a sentence, sometimes less, can land somewhere so deep that years later you still hear them.
The ones that don't just pass through. The ones that stay.
Exactly. And I thought, what if we just sat with some of those today? Not lectures, not long explanations, just the words and what they actually mean when you really let them in.
I think that's exactly what this coffee was made for.
15 of them. About the mind, about fear, about the things that live between the two.
Then let's begin.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius.
A Roman emperor, one of the most powerful men in the ancient world. And what he came back to, again and again, was not power over others, but power over the one thing that was actually his. The mind. Most people spend a lifetime trying to control what happens around them. Very few turn that attention inward, where the real work lives.
We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca.
The Stoics understood something about the mind that neuroscience is only now confirming. That most of what we fear never arrives. And the suffering we do in anticipation, the replaying, the catastrophizing, the worst-case scenarios, is often more painful than the thing itself ever was. Seneca wrote this 2,000 years ago. It has never stopped being true.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung.
This one changed how I think about almost everything. The patterns we repeat, the relationships we keep choosing, the ways we keep arriving at the same place despite taking different roads. Jung was saying, none of that is fate. None of it is bad luck. It is the unconscious running programs we never stop to examine. And the moment you examine them, they lose their power. Not immediately, but they begin to.
The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Socrates.
Which sounds like modesty, but is actually one of the most radical intellectual positions a person can hold. Because the moment you believe you know everything, you stop learning. You stop questioning. You stop growing. The wisest person in the room is usually the one most comfortable saying, I could be wrong about this. Tell me more.
Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things. Epictetus.
This is the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy. Written in the 1st century AD. It's not the thing that happened that causes the suffering. It's the meaning you gave it. The story you built around it. The interpretation. Change the interpretation, and the same event produces a completely different experience. That is not just philosophy. That is neuroscience. That is therapy. That is the most practical wisdom most people never learned.
What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius.
4 words that completely reframe the relationship between obstacle and progress. Most people experience difficulty as evidence that they're on the wrong path. The Stoics experienced it as the path itself. The resistance is not in the way. The resistance is the training. And every person who has ever grown into someone stronger than they were grew through exactly what tried to stop them.
The soul has been given its own ears, to hear things the mind does not understand. Rumi.
There are things you know before you understand them. Feelings that arrive before the explanation does. An instinct that fires before the logic catches up. Rumi was writing about the part of us that operates below language, below reasoning. And he was saying, that part deserves to be listened to. Not instead of the mind, but alongside it.
The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. William James.
William James, considered the father of American psychology, understood something that most people spend their whole lives not quite believing: that the thought is a choice. Not always easy, not always immediate, but a choice. And in that choice, however small, lies the beginning of everything that can change.
Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Carl Jung.
Which explains why a person can be surrounded by people and feel completely alone, and why sometimes a single conversation with someone who genuinely understands can reach a loneliness that years of company never touched. It was never about the number of people. It was always about being known.
Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. Epicurus.
This is the arrival fallacy in ancient wisdom form. The thing you have now, the life you're living right now, was once the dream version of a younger you. And yet here you are, inside it, looking past it, toward the next thing. Epicurus was asking, what if you stopped, just for a moment, and let this be enough?
Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Viktor Frankl.
Frankl wrote this having survived 4 Nazi concentration camps, having lost almost everyone he loved, having experienced things most of us will thankfully never be able to imagine. And what he found, in the very worst of human circumstances, was that the final freedom, the one no external force could touch, was the choice of response. Not what happened, but what you did with what happened. That is not inspiration. That is testimony.
You can't lose either the past or the future. How could you lose what you don't have? Marcus Aurelius.
We grieve the past as though we still possess it. We fear the future as though it already exists. But both are illusions. The past is a memory. The future is a prediction. Neither is real in this moment. Only now is real. And now, as it turns out, is also the only place where anything can be done.
No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. Aristotle.
Which might be the most comforting thing ever said to anyone who has ever felt like their mind runs a little differently, a little louder, a little harder to quiet. Aristotle was not romanticizing mental suffering. He was observing something real, that the same mind capable of extraordinary perception and extraordinary creativity is often the same mind that cannot easily rest. That gift and difficulty are frequently the same thing, wearing different faces.
We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Epictetus.
Epictetus was born a slave. He had no power over almost anything in his external life. And yet he became one of the most influential philosophers in human history, because he understood and lived the distinction between what is in our control and what is not. And he stopped wasting himself on the things that weren't. That single distinction, practiced daily, is one of the most transformative things a human being can do.
The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius.
We began with Marcus Aurelius, and we end with him, because he kept returning to this, that the external world, the world of events and other people and circumstances beyond our control, is in constant motion, always changing, always unpredictable. But the internal world, the world of thought and interpretation and the stories we choose to tell, that world is authored by us. And what we write in it, day by day, thought by thought, is what we experience as a life.
15 quotes. 15 different voices across 25 centuries, and every single one of them pointing at the same thing.
The mind. What we do with it, what we let it do to us, and what becomes possible when we finally understand the difference.
One of these 15 landed somewhere in you today, maybe more than one. Don't let it pass through. Sit with the one that landed hardest. Ask, why did that one reach me? What does it know about me that I haven't quite said out loud yet?
Words this old, still alive, still reaching people across thousands of years, are not old because they are historical. They are alive because they are true. And truth, real truth, doesn't have an expiry date.
Part 2 is coming. 15 quotes about love and the people we share this strange life with.
We'll see you there.
Thank you for being here with us today.
If one of these 15 reached something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. They probably do.
And our question before you go:
which of these 15 quotes landed hardest for you? And why do you think that one in particular reached you?
Tell us in the comments. We read every single one. Always.
Until next time.
Stay curious, stay kind, and let the words that matter stay a little longer than the rest.